So you've probably got a new website or you've been publishing content for a while and you have no freaking clue why you're not ranking. And it's a common problem that a lot of people have. I'm going to break down the 3 main reasons why your content isn't ranking and what you can actually do to fix it. So if you're new here, my name's Josiah Roche and I've helped my clients generate millions of visitors to their websites through content and SEO. So let's get into it. What is the number one, or I guess one of the top 3 reasons why? Well, it's usually because your content isn't good enough. And I don't mean that to like insult you or whatever. It's just literally that you got to compare the top 3 rankings of the search term you're trying to rank for and see if you can be better than them, right? And you might be better than them already and still not ranking, and we'll get into that later. But basically, Google doesn't just look for any content. You can't just write a piece of content and expect to rank just because, just because. And so Google just wants the best content out there for that particular query. And it's doing its best every single day to like mash up like millions of different websites out there to see which one's better using all of its like jargony kind of metrics out there. So if you compare your page, the one that you've created, to the other top ranking pages for that keyword. So you can use a tool like Ahrefs or SEMrush. Please do not use Google Keyword Planner. Please, for heaven's sake, don't do that. But for the other tools, try to get a premium SEO tool if you can. And so if you use Ahrefs, you can type in the keyword like, for example, if you look at lawn care services, right? Let's say that you're trying to rank for lawn care services. Now, the idea is that you want to look at the top 3 ranking search results and then see whether or not you can beat those, right? Now, I'll have a caveat here. Just because they're ranking doesn't mean they're the best out there. You could still beat them. And I've done this time and time again. Even big conglomerate websites out there, you can still beat them if you make better content. You need to look at their page. Can you beat it? Is your content too thin? Like, does it have enough words on it? Is it helpful enough? Does it go deep enough into the topic that you're going for? And what I'm saying, it doesn't just relate to blog posts, it can be also your service pages. Does your service pages really answer the intent of, does it have an amazing headlines? Does it relate to the audience? Are people staying on the page long enough? Are they bouncing within 5 seconds, or are they staying on for at least 30 seconds or a minute? Weigh up those kind of things. And the same with your blog posts. Like, are they going to your blog post and then bouncing after 3 seconds? Or are they staying on for 2 minutes to read the content? If they're not staying on to read the content, you've got a big problem. So you can go into your Google Analytics data and have a look at what people are doing on your website right now. Are they staying on for long periods of time? Are they not? Go deeper. You can use tools like Microsoft Clarity or Hotjar to see what people are actually doing on your website. Are they bots? Are they people overseas just who aren't your target audience, just like spamming your website or whatever, or getting ideas from you? Or are they genuine customers? Are they staying on long enough? So we'll go into this. So your content might not be good enough. That's the number 1 reason. You fix it by looking at the top 3 ranking pages. You go into more depth. You offer better examples. You have clearer formatting. You make sure that your content fully answers the query properly. Query meaning like the search term. If someone typed in lawn care services, that's the query, right? You need to provide more value than anyone else out there in terms of, if you were the target audience, if you were typing in lawn care services, what would you find that's super helpful, the information in a certain web page, whether or not it's blog post or a service page? What information would you like to see that, no one else is even doing in the first place? So that's a big takeaway there. You can improve the readability. Increasing the readability and consuming the information on the page does what? It increases the time people spend on your website, which then improves your SEO, okay? Are you using the right headings? Are you using schema markup? Are you using good meta titles, good meta descriptions? Are you going deep into fixing all the issues, the page speed, all that kind of stuff, right? And so these are all these are all tiny signals that Google use to determine whether or not your page should be worthy enough of the top 3 search results or not. So that's a very, very big one. But let's say, for example, you're already doing all that kind of stuff. You've got all the content there. You've got better content, arguably, than the top 3 competitors out there. And it loads fast, good readability, great headlines, great offer, all this kind of stuff. Or if it's a blog, it's got better information than everyone else, got better illustrations, better images, all that kind of stuff, right? You get what I'm saying? If you got all things being equal, you got better content. And you're still not ranking, what the hell? Number 2, and the reason why your content probably isn't ranking, is that you don't have enough backlinks. And so you have really great content, but it won't rank without backlinks. And so backlinks are one of the strongest signals that tell Google that your website is to be trusted, because Google uses it to determine the credibility of a page. So put it in this perspective. If you tomorrow started your own business and you wanted to compete against Google, so you create your own search engine, let's say that, hypothetically, then what would you use to determine whether or not a website is good or bad? If it's an industry you have no idea about, let's say it's in the mining sector or whatever, and you have no clue, about that sector or what makes it good, how are you going to determine whether or not a website's to be trusted? Well, one of the big factors is, when one website points to another website saying that website is good, or a lot of websites linking to that one website. So these are kind of like votes of confidence, and these are what backlinks are. Now, it's not the only determining factor. It's not about the number of backlinks. That's where a lot of people get stuck. They think they'll just go on Fiverr, they'll buy like a ton of links for like $10, and then they'll rank overnight. Doesn't work that way. So Google is smarter than that, right? Google can determine the quality of that link, where it's coming from. Was it a spammy link? What was the context of that link? Was it like a click here, or did it have contextual relevance? Did it come from a blog post or a service page? Did it come from like an incentivized link, like an advertiser? Was it a do follow or no follow? So I'm probably throwing a lot of jargon out there right now, but basically Google is very smart. You can't just buy a ton of links. Like, to put things in perspective, like we spend around 2K US per month on our link building, and we only get up to about 10 links for that, 10 to 12 links. That's it. And so we're paying for quality links. We're paying for really good links going to specific pages every single month. And you don't need many. You don't need many links to rank. Take it from me. We're ranking for so many top 3 keywords, and we're doing it very methodically, and we don't have that many links compared to our competitors. But like in my experience across our clients, it's rinse and repeat. Make the content amazing, fix all the stuff on the page, and then build links to it. Rinse and repeat. There's no secret to SEO. That is it. That's, and use your common sense. Like, if you were building a search engine, what would you like people to do, and what wouldn't you like people to do in order to manipulate their rankings, right? And if you think about it from that lens, everything you do with SEO is common sense. Like, if you think what you're doing is dodgy as fuck, then don't do it. Like, it's that simple, okay? Now, link building is one of those things where it's, borderline. It sounds like you're manipulating the search engines, but if you do it properly, you build proper links from proper pages, going to the right relevant pages, you're doing the right thing, you're trying to improve the user experience along the way, then, you're making the internet a better place, not a worse place, right? It's only a worse place if you're building shitty links from shitty websites to your shitty pages that, you get what I'm saying, right? So you got to start building links within your industry, relevant links from industry, and do outreach to other websites willing to link to your content. And you can pay other people to do this, or do it yourself. I've tried doing it myself. It takes a freaking ton of time, and there's a reason why there's link building agencies out there, because it takes a while. That's why I pay other people to do it, because I don't want those kind of headaches. I want to just focus on the content, things within my immediate control that I can fix, and then those things outside my control, I hire external agencies and stuff to deal with all that crap. Yeah, if you want to DIY or know the process, basically you're going to offer what we call guest posting or mentions, or niche edits, like going on their existing blog, finding little bits and pieces where it makes sense to link back to your website, offering for them to do that, and you give them money for it, or some incentive like a partnership website link, whatever. Totally normal. There's a whole world out there where this is just all they do all day long. Just, swapping links here and there. Once you've done that, make sure at the same time, and I didn't cover this in number 1, to work on your internal linking. So you're strengthening your internal linking. What I mean by that is you got external linking, which if you're talking about your web page, external linking just means linking to another website. Right? It doesn't mean building links from other websites to your website. That's not what it means. Internal linking is like your page on your website should link to other pages within your website, and they should be relevant and connecting like a spider web. I talk about this in many videos. It's called Topical Authority Map. Okay, so you're basically linking all between to make sure you're creating these relationships around your content, hyperlinking certain text where the text is relevant to the page you're sending people to, and then vice versa. They all link and intermingle, and you're training the bots, Google bots, to understand a relationship between your web pages. I hope I didn't skim through that too quickly, but we do talk about it in a lot of other videos. Now, let's move on. Number 3 is your website is too new. right? It's not been around long enough. And I see this a lot of the times that you got new websites and they're wondering why they're not ranking for their brand term. So if you've got a website and it's got a very special name and you're like, hey, why aren't we ranking? We should at least come up first for this. And the reason why is probably one, you haven't indexed your website through Google Search Console. But two, your website's too new. So if your website's too new, Google doesn't trust it yet. Neither do other search engines. Google takes time to build this trust with newer domains. And Hrefs and things like that, they've got this little thing called domain authority. Okay, so if we go into Hrefs, I know if you're listening, you probably can't see this on your screen, but there's something called a domain rating. SEMrush has something similar as well, but they basically calculate a lot of links going to your site and what you're ranking for now, come up with some fancy score, and the higher it is, closer to 100, the more authoritative your website is. It's not a true signal because I've seen like shit websites that have 75 out of 100, so don't take domain rating. Take it with a grain of salt, but the reason why I'm explaining this is because it takes time to build authority and takes time to build trust with Google. So with older, more established websites, they naturally have a leg up over you. So if you've got a competitor who's had their website up for ages, they've had a domain for ages, and they've built their authority over a longer period of time, or their websites just sit there for a couple of years, Google trusts them more than your new website. Okay, so the trust building phase, they call in the SEO world the Google sandbox, and it only affects new websites for a few months to a year. So it's this myth in the SEO world. They call this thing a Google sandbox, where if you've got a new website and you've launched for the first time and Google does not trust you yet, you go through this little sandbox, this little period of time where Google doesn't trust you yet, and it's your job to build trust as quick as possible. So your job within that time is to generate really high quality content relevant to your target audience, improving your content on page, like the right keywords, the keyword density, title tags, meta descriptions, images, fast load time, internal links, etc. And you've got enough links pointing to your website from high quality websites. So if you're a brand new website and you sell lawn care services, you'd probably want to get onto all the listing websites to begin with, because that's what is natural, right? From other lawn care websites out there, they've probably got a Yelp, a Google My Business, or Google Business Profile. They've probably got a Facebook account. So if Google sees that that's normal in that industry to have, then you probably want to do what's normal and go make yourself a Facebook account, make yourself a Yelp account, make yourself, you know what I mean? You're trying to do what seems to be natural so that you're playing game with the algorithm so that they can trust you. And then you got to be patient, right? This is information coming from Hrefs on their SEO glossary for Google Sandbox. With that said, the best way to get out of that phase, I just explained all the possible things. You just need to be consistent, publish really high quality content, try to build more backlinks, and you'll get out of there. You'll get out of there after 6 months, 12 months, maybe even shorter. If you do all the right stuff and you're in the right kind of industry and in that location, there's not enough competitors, you might be out of the sandbox within a couple of weeks. You don't know. Like yeah, we've seen some really crazy stories with a lot of our clients in the past when we did used to work with startups who had capital. Now we're working with much bigger clients now, but you can see some results if you do the right stuff. So all the basics there. So just to recap, if your content isn't ranking, it's likely one of the three things that I just mentioned before. So number one is your content is not competitive enough, or it isn't good enough, and it just needs to be better. Number two is you don't have enough backlinks from quality websites. Remember, do not go on Fiverr or Upwork, try to buy a package of like 1,000 backlinks or 100 backlinks. It will not work for you. You will destroy your reputation. Aim for quality over quantity every day of the week. And number three, it's probably because your website is too new, or that landing page you've launched is too new, or that page is too new, and Google hasn't trusted your website as a whole yet. These are all fixable things. You can fix all of these by improving your content, building more links, and staying consistent with your SEO. And you'll start to see those results that you're looking for. So thanks so much for joining me in today's episode. If you found value in this, don't forget to subscribe and share it with someone who might be struggling with their content rankings. If you're ready to dive deeper into building authority and getting more backlinks, well, visit my YouTube channel or listen to more of these podcast episodes. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.